Your credit report is a history of everything that you've done today, that you're doing today, and that you have done in the past. So hey everybody, this is Juanita with the 7th Avenue. I am so happy to see you today. I think it is really important for us to take time and actually just be thankful, of everything around us, like to give praise. So, we got to stop what we're doing and just say thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. But on another note, if this is your first time checking in with me, I am the CEO of 7th Avenue. I'm a realtor. I am a financial educator, and I am the CEO of a growing computer company called Gotex Technology. I've helped families reach their financial goals, purchase their dream home, and restore their credit. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your credit report. I want to discuss some important things about that you need to know about it, what it is, and so on and so forth. A lot of people come to me and they're always asking, pretty basic questions about the credit report. And I'm starting to understand that people just don't understand it. Okay. So in my opinion, I feel like you cannot leverage anything. You can't do anything with your finances if you don't know where you stand or where your position is on your report. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. Okay. What is a credit report? It is more than just a bunch of reportings. It's more than somebody just telling what you're doing and what you're not doing. It's more than that. It actually tells a story. How you manage your credit, it really does reflect in your credit report and on your score. Your credit report is a history of everything that you've done today, that you're doing today, and that you have done in the past. So if you don't check your credit and you go out and you try to go buy something, they're going to be able to see exactly what type of person you are through your history. This is your track record. This is your rap sheet. This is your report card. So you want to make sure that you know where you stand before you try to do anything. Mathematically speaking, your credit score does represent the information that is in your credit report. Your scores affect your ability to get anything, really. It affects your ability to, get a house, get an apartment, buy a car, get a credit card. It affects the terms that you get. Even if you can get those things, it affects how high your interest rates are. So you want to make sure that you tap in, you sit back, you take notes, and let's get started. All right, awesome. So credit that is considered on your report. So that you might look at your report, you might see so many different things on there, but not everything is considered. Okay, so that means when you go to apply for something, they look at certain things. Okay, student loans is something that they look at. Credit cards, car loans, personal loans, mortgages, home equity loans, secure credit cards, or other loans. Those are things that they do consider on your report. Now, there are some things that they do not consider, which means that if you are applying for something and they see it on there, it's not really going to affect the decision that they make. On-time phone utility bills, debit card usage, paying with cash. Of course, you can't track cash, so it's not going to be on your report. Writing checks, if you cash checks, or any type of income or remittance, is not going to be considered on your report. Now, there is other information that you will find on your report, and this is important. Name and aliases. So any other names that you might go by, that's going to be on there. If you apply for anything that has that name on it, it's going to report there. social security number, your current and your past addresses might show up. Your employer's history might show up. Your date of birth, collection accounts, inquiries are going to show up, whatever you apply for. The creditor's contact information is going to show up. The consumer statement, public records, kind of like anything that you might have, like a judgment or something. A lot of the, like, for example, if you're looking for a wage garnishment or something to show up on your public reports, that ain't gonna happen because in 2017 they made up an agreement, whereas they will not post those type of civil liens or civil judgments on your public record, on your report, I should say. So you'll have your payment history and, of course, your account summary that will show up on your report. Now, the positive and the negative credit history, this is going to be based off of the lender's perspective, what they actually feel or believe is going to affect, or however they look at it, that's going to affect your decision if you're applying for something. So the positive is more of a low risk, right? So when they look at your report, they're looking to see, are you a low risk borrower? Okay, meaning that you pay your bills on time consistently, and you maintain a reasonable amount of your credit being used. So your credit usage is like what we talked about before, 10% or lower. You apply for credit only when you need it. So they can actually tell if you're sitting up there applying every single time for some type of credit card or something else, because it's going to add up on your inquiries, whether it's a hard or inquiry or whatever the case may be. So you want to keep your inquiries at a minimum, because they do check those type of things. They check the credit reports annually. Do you check it annually? And do you correct your errors on there? That could hurt your score. So that is what the perspective would look like for a low risk. Now, when it comes to high risk, this is more like maxing out your limits on your credit cards. I mean, that's a given. Having numerous credit applications in a short time period. I'm not talking about if you go out and you try to apply for a house and you're searching around for a mortgage company that works for you. You start to, they have to pull your credit, so you'll start to see inquiries within a certain amount of time. And what we're talking about is you go to a mortgage company today, and then next week you go, we'll say you go to a couple mortgage companies this month, and then next month you go to a car loan company, and then you wait, and then like 2 months later you go back to another mortgage company. Like, so it's kind of like you want to do it in a certain amount of time, but you don't want to be just trying to go overboard with trying to apply for things. Your credit score, this is very important because it measures where you stand, like your risk. Okay, whenever you guys actually see your credit report, you might have the report that shows your score. If you go into Credit Karma, you will see a example of what your score may be. It's not exact, it's not guaranteed that that's what your score is, but it is kind of like a ballpark range. So when you take a look at your score, it can range from 579 or less. I mean, I'm talking like 400, it could be 350, whatever it is, all the way up to 800 plus, right? If you have a score that's 579 or less, they're going to look at you like not happening. We ain't even going to consider this person because you look real risky, like very risky. If you have a score which is like 580 or 669, then you probably have a better chance, because some lenders will approve you with this score. Now 670 and above, like 670 to 739, you are good. I mean, lenders are definitely going to consider your score, and it's kind of like in the middle. You have 740 to 779. Lenders look at you like you're dependable, right? They look at you like, okay, cool, we know we're going to get our money back. 800 plus, don't even ask any questions. You can just drive off the lot with the keys, okay? No questions asked. You are an exceptional borrower, okay? So you want to make sure that you are where you are. You want to make sure that you know where you are when it comes to your FICO score. Okay. Now, one thing I do want you to know is what your credit score, how your credit score is calculated. Okay. First, before we even get into that, just know like there's 20% of US consumers who actually have an 800 or higher. 40% has 740 to 799. And the near average score of US consumers is around the middle number, which is 670 to 739. 20% actually has 579 or less, and below average is between 580 and 669 for US consumers. So where do you stand? Do you even know? But if you don't know, now is the time for you to go pull your credit. You get one free credit report from each bureau every year. So definitely tap into that and make sure that you pull your credit. So let's talk about how your credit score is calculated, okay? Your payment history, it takes up 35% of your score. That means that you are actually making timely payments on time and consistently. Not that you made a payment this month and the next month you don't make a payment or whatever the case may be. But this also includes any type of late or missed payments. Okay, when they look at your payment history, they're also looking at your credit accounts. They're looking at your public records and your collection items. So all of this factors in, and it's 35%. So this takes up the bulk of your score. Any type of outstanding debt that you have, that's 30% of your score. So whatever the total dollar amount of debt you currently owe, that's 30% of your score. Credit cards, if you have a total amount across all of your accounts, like your credit limit is like 1,000 and that's like the total amount, is 30% from that. When you have a high percentage of the credit limit and it's already used, this can indicate to the prospective lenders that you are overextending yourself, okay? And you're likely to probably miss payments in the future. Yeah, so you definitely want to keep your credit card balances below the limits like we talked about. 10% or lower would be ideal. The length of your credit history, that's going to take about 15% of your score. So that's the amount of time that the consumer has held your credit accounts, okay? That will show like, okay, you've had these student loans for about 15 years. That could be good on your credit because it also goes off of the length of your credit. If you have like a account that's been on there for a month, that may not affect you or benefit you as much as that student loans would if they were just sitting on there for a good amount of time. So and that is based off of when the account was established and whenever it closed or when it was established or how long it's been on there. So all of that is consistent into that 15%. It's very important because when it comes time to fix your credit, sometimes some things is better left untouched because of that specific issue. So the longer the history, the better or the more beneficial it will help your credit score. Okay, so keep that in mind. The pursuit of new credit, that is 10% of your score. Now that is you trying to apply to things. That's the inquiries that you would get when you apply to things. Okay, so when you open up too many accounts all at once, it could be a red flag in a short period of time, or if you just do it randomly, that also can be a red flag as well. So that can hurt your score depending on what you're doing and how often you're doing it. For example, if you're trying to get a mortgage for a home, it's best to try to search around for your mortgage company all within like around the same time. I would say like a month or so. And then that way, if you go to someone today and you go to someone tomorrow, it doesn't affect your score when they check it, versus you actually going to this month and then you wait in next month or the month after to find a mortgage company. All right, so the information that they don't calculate in your FICO credit score is going to be your age. That doesn't matter. They don't discriminate. Okay. Your race, your color, your religion, your national origin, your sex, your marital status, your salary, your occupation, your title, your employer's history, where you live, and overall, like your wealth, like all your assets. That is not included, and it's not considered. It's not calculated. So it's not based off of your race and all of that stuff. It's based off of how you actually keep how you are with your money, basically. That's basically what that is all about. When you're trying to request your credit report, remember you have one free credit report from each bureau every year. So it's 2021. If you didn't pull it this year, pull it. It's free. And there's a few places you can actually go. I normally just go to annualcreditreport.com. You can visit that. There should be probably a link at the bottom of this video, or maybe even in my bio, that will show you the places or the ways that you can actually get a credit report, either by calling, writing in, or going online and just plugging in your information. There are some websites that you want to be aware of, because they also may tell you that you have a free report and then they try to charge you. That's not supposed to happen, especially if it's your first time getting it for the year. Now, if you just got it yesterday and you try to go back 30 days or 45 days later and try to get it, then yeah, they're going to charge you, because it's not, it's once per year. So keep that in mind. It's definitely recommended that you actually try to monitor your credit report at least every 3 months, 3 to 4 months. Try to monitor your credit report within that time. And if you have any type of mistakes on your credit report, then those are the type of things that you want to focus on. Those are the type of things that you want to look at, based off of the Federal Trade Commission. 1 in 4 consumers actually identify errors on their credit reports. Okay, that's what could affect their scores. I know I think it's 1971, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, that's when it was enacted to protect the consumer, yourself, from any type of incorrect information. So you have the right to report that. That's where credit agencies and things come in, because they're the ones who help you try to report or try to fight or try to dispute, I should say, any inaccuracies. That would be a whole nother situation on whether you should do your credit yourself or whether you should hire somebody to do it for you. But everybody needs a mentor. So keep in mind, if you can't do everything by yourself. Okay. So if you do need help and you need guidance, you guys know where to find me. Make sure you click on the link in my bio. Also, if you don't need help or you just want to go ahead and get started, I have a bundle, a workbook for you that actually has a few dispute letters that you can use to get started. Make sure that you check out the link in my bio for the dispute letters. They are fully loaded. They have everything in there. All you got to do is plug in your information. And if you kind of want to play with the words a little bit, you can do that too. So make sure you do that. And if you need anything else, you know how to reach me. Click on the link in my bio, set up a free consultation, and we can go ahead and go from there. When it comes to building your credit history, that is really important, okay? But the first thing you want to do is be able to pull your credit, look and see where you stand with the credit, and then try to come up with a strategic plan that will allow you to be able to position yourself for leveraging your money and your credit and everything else. When it comes to building your credit history, you always want to, there's so many different things that you could do as an individual. Like we talked about being a cosigner or authorized user. We talked about getting a secured credit card. Some of you have reached out to me and asked me about those type of things, and I discussed those things with you. So there are so many things that could help you in certain areas to boost your score. But that's where you need to start first. Enjoy the rest of y'all day, and I will talk to y'all next time.